And you're hitting the buttons on me.
All right.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, so I actually told Alex a little bit about you guys last week when I was like, hey, we have this really cool opportunity to sit down with this really cool band called Secret Monkey Weekend. And Alex was like, where did they come up with that name? I said, we'll find out, but that's not what makes them cool. I said, what makes them cool is they're a family. And I went on to tell Alex, like kind of a little bit of like what your story was that you were telling us during the show. But I thought that the dynamic of the way that you guys are set up is a very cool dynamic. Because, like I was like, my dad never did anything cool with me like that as a kid.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to have had not one but two pretty cool dads that are musical. So
Yeah. Their birth father Matt Brown died when they were 4 and 9,
mm-hmm.
and I married their mother about
2015.
3 years later. After that, yeah.
Okay.
And their dad Matt was a buddy of mine. We played in bands together, so I knew the family, or I was just starting to get to know the family when Matt died. So yeah.
And he was a drummer.
Okay, so you played drums at one point in time.
Oh no, not Jefferson. Our birth father did. He's a guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Matt and I had a duo.
Okay.
We had a duo, and then we had a band that did nothing but the Kinks, and then we had a band that did my music mainly, and so yeah, that's how we knew each other as musicians.
Okay. But that's that kind of like just expands your dynamic more. I feel like it gave you an insight to like you already knew them. So kind of maybe like stepping into that was easier for you, and then just creating the band was a little like the next evolution.
Yeah, it was pretty easy because we were used to having a musical dynamic in the family before Jefferson came into our lives, but we were used to having a musician parent, and I think that's kind of how the band came around naturally. It just started as us. I wanted to learn bass, and Jeff taught me the fundamentals of bass, like what are the strings, what does pressing the frets do, and
You really got me, and what Louie.
Yeah. And so me and him would just play together for fun, and then Lila was like, "Hey, I'd like to be included." And we had so many drum sets from my dad, it was like, well, the natural place for Lila is on the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out Lila was really, really good at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But, up until very recently, I had just been using completely my dad's old gear, hardware, all the drums. But, just this year I got my first very own drum kit. I'm super happy with it, and we've been bringing it out to play at shows. And it means a lot to play my dad's drums. Hi, Claudine. But it's good to have something that's your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a drum kit I brought to the equation too, and it was a sort of a small one. So that was the one Lila really played for a while. But then I don't know, it just kind of depended on your mood, which drum kit you wanted. You had about 3 to choose from.
Yeah.
This is when Lila was 7, I think.
So how long have you been playing the drums now?
8 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been playing since around this time in 2016, so 8 years.
Yep.
Okay. And I know that your sister had said at the show that she had taken place in the girls' rock camp.
I did in, I want to say,
2014?
No,
2015?
it was, I think it was 2016, maybe. Yeah.
Girls Rock?
Yeah, I was in Girls Rock,
Yeah.
I think in 2016.
Park and Recreation? Is that what it was? Were they part of the parks thing?
I don't think so.
Okay, they were just separate.
Yeah, and so that, I had just learned bass then. So I was only maybe like 3 months into learning bass when I did
But it was
that.
after school where she went to school at Durham Central Park School for Children. They both went there.
Oh, okay. because I think that the bar still hosts an event for that like Camp Rock style program
Yeah.
where the bands still get to come in and kind of and like show off what they've been working on. Did you get to do that too?
Yeah, so with the I did two things. So I didn't get to do the show with Girls Rock, but there was the Save Our Arts program that Central Park ran back in 2012 and 2013.
Yeah.
And that was, they had children learn music and then they performed it at Motorco.
Yeah.
And that was my first ever show.
Now, you did play one time at the Arts Council with a band. You had a summer art council band.
That was after.
That was later.
Yeah, that was later.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, Motorco was my first on-stage show. I was playing guitar back then. I still play a little guitar, but it's not my main instrument. But my little first band was called the Paranormal Bandits. We played a song about zombies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we were 10, and that's what we liked at age 10.
Yeah, Ella was writing
Yeah.
songs early on. The main reason I got to know the family pretty well after Matt died was I was teaching Ella guitar. And Laura, their mom, would bring them both over, and I would teach guitar to Ella. And Ella wrote at least 2 songs while she was learning guitar with me. This was 11 years ago, 2013. Yeah, so, and then we'd go out for pizza afterwards or go for a walk. So I became closer with the family, and I think the next thing I know, we were like going for an all-day beach trip together. And that's kind of where it started. I was barely dating Laura, or maybe not even thinking about dating Laura. I was just a family friend, but I felt like I was involved with the family, and it just felt really nice.
Yeah.
But I remember the first time I remember meeting my papa. We were going over to his old house for Ella's guitar lesson, and I just saw this big poster he had of this painting of horses, and I was like, that's the best poster ever.
Yeah,
I love horses.
Yeah, she was into ponies very heavily at the time. My Little Pony.
I think all little girls do that. Like, there's just something about like the My Little Ponies and all the pretty little horses that they have when we're kids. You want them all. Lisa Frank had the coolest posters.
Totally. I think I remember having like Lisa Frank sticker books.
Yeah.
What is that?
Okay.
She's like an artist that did like glittery like unicorns and leopards.
Okay.
I think.
Name dropping. Bailey Sarian did an entire Dark History episode on Lisa Frank.
Oh. I watched one of her videos.
You'll have to do that.
Yeah, there's a whole episode dedicated to that. I was like, wow, of all the things that not something I would think of as being dark history, but there was definitely. I was like, oh, okay. So we get sidetracked sometimes. It's okay.
No, you're good. We are the kings and queens of sidetracking in this family.
Yeah.
Ours is I have a gremlin named Chaos that runs around.
On a different subject, I saw that you had an interview with Rhett Miller.
I did.
Yeah.
We did. He is such an awesome person. He performed at Motorco in maybe February. I have his poster here somewhere. And I did not know exactly how popular he was until I went down the rabbit hole and found that he has a Christmas song from the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas movie.
Oh my god.
Him and his band are aliens in that movie performing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that band, I remember them being together back in 1997 when I was in this band called the $2 Pistols, which was a Chapel Hill, Durham band. And I guess, they reunite once in a while, but they sort of broke up, and then John Howie Jr. started the Rosewood Bluff. But I was in that band, and I remember touring with them. I think we went to Austin, and I just remember seeing their posters everywhere. The old 97s were sort of gaining momentum and getting well known around, that was how many, 27 years ago now?
Yeah, he's been been in the music industry for 40 years.
Wow.
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 When I started like looking into his just like music history from like what I could find, he started at like 13.
Mm. Mm.
Wow.
Yep. And I had just recently, like, I follow him on Facebook and Instagram, and he had just posted that he has accepted a teaching job,
Oh,
teaching, like at a college, I guess, like in a musical, for aspiring artists. I was like, that's really cool. But he is actually going to be in Sioux Falls. Wow. um,
Well, that was a good
Wrong.
interview. I was sort of just browsing that before we connected, and I thought, well, you know,
thank you.
yeah, and I've even got a review of my music from about 10 years ago, and there was a comparison with him. Strangely enough, I didn't really see it uh, immediately, but apparently, I don't know, maybe something about the tone of his singing voice and mine. Maybe I can send that to you in an email, and you can see it.
Oh, sure, I'd love it.
Yeah.
We like to like link songs to our episodes, and then we also have a YouTube music playlist.
Mhm.
And when I can find songs by the bands, I will add them to the playlist so that anybody can just go kind of find out what's going on in our queue, who's going to be coming up, what artists we've already had, as a way to help artists get their music out there to be seen, because that's the sole purpose of what we decided we wanted to do with this podcast, was take the bands that aren't well known, that don't get a lot of likes or clicks or subscribes, but they're very good and they have a story, and share that story with the world the only way that we know how, by having a conversation and putting the music out there. And then, if I come across you, you have another show, then I try to help promote it as much as I can
Mhm.
through all of our social medias that we have too.
that was really such a great thing.
Yeah, we really appreciate just anybody taking the time to
Yeah.
learn about us.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad we connected at the bar that night at Motorco. The main thing I remember, I was ordering a drink for my wife Laura, and because I'm getting older and I have to use these hearing aids to hear better. Just the family in general at home.
Yeah.
But when I play gigs, I turn them down so they don't distort like microphones. And I remember I couldn't hear what you were saying, and you probably couldn't hear what I was saying. And I was like, so finally you held up this glass, and it was really big. And I said, yeah, let's just get one of those. So I think it was a very large gin and tonic for Laura.
Yep.
That made her happy. So
Yeah.
Awesome. I did my job then.
yes.
Awesome. I try to connect with the bands, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I don't ever see them come out of the back, and sometimes they're super personable, like in your guys' case. You were super personable with me at the bar later that night. So then I was able to like grab an email address to reach out to start a conversation.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things that I think that all bands need to remember, is to still be personable
Oh yeah.
with the people that are there to support you. Because
Yeah.
I mean, like, we do run into it a lot where I get people and they're like, yeah, just send us a message and I'll send it. And I'm at that point where I'm like, do I send 10 messages because you told me to send a message?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
funny,
if you
Ella.
want to sit down.
Ever since Ella was little, and like I said, I met her when she was about 8, and their family was still intact and everything. And it's always been said about Ella that she related to adults maybe as well as she did kids. In fact, adults would be having conversations with Ella, and adults kind of became Ella fans even when she was 9, because she was sort of acting like this little grown up at pint size 9. So I guess in a lot of ways Ella's been sort of outgoing. What is extrovert? Is that the word?
Yeah. I think since I've grown up so entrenched in the rock scene, I've just kind of develop so that
Right.
I know the value of the people that support you,
Yeah.
like the sound people, the stage crew, the bartenders, the
Yeah.
bar owners.
And even friends of like your parents. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe you could tell the Grant Hart story. Grant Hart from Husker Du was actually friends of the family before I even became their dad. So
Yeah, so I don't know how the whole thing happened, but Grant Hart of Husker Du was doing a solo tour, I kind of in North Carolina, Upper South, and somehow he got put in touch with a band of my dad's, and they became his backing band, and he and Dad seemed to connect really well, and Grant needed somewhere to stay during the tour, so we were like, hey, we have a house that you can stay in. And he became kind of me and Lila's, like, friend. You know, like, he played
That's
games
cool.
with us. He took us to the store with him.
played out with the tree house. And stuff.
Yeah, he used to have a tree house, and he, like, played with us in the tree house. And
Yeah.
at the time, I didn't know who Husker Du was, because I was 8. I was just like, oh, this cool guy is my friend.
Yeah.
And then years later, I was like, oh, he's
Yeah.
like very important
Yeah.
in the world of music.
Nice.
Yeah.
And sadly, he passed away about
2017.
7 years ago.
Oh.
So some of these people that were important in their lives, unfortunately, we've lost them. They're both of their grandparents on Laura's side, my wife's side, passed away within about a year of each other.
Mm.
So, and they were their homeschool teachers, which was kind of a big loss. Of course, I don't know if you're seeing, we've got a couple of buffalo dogs running
Great Pyrenees puppies.
Yeah, they're Pyrenees puppies, and they're almost 1 year old, and they're just
Those-
blasting through the
The
dog
Are
door.
some
So if you hear a
big
little explosion,
dogs.
that's our dog.
Those are not puppies. Those
Two
are like
dogs.
woolly mammoths.
Yeah, they're like 70 pounds. So they're puppies in age, but not in size.
That's a load of dog fur, guys.
Yeah.
That is not a puppy.
None of that. None of that.
Okay. Anyway, so it's
Of
typical
course,
of
they
our
act
day.
their worst when we have guests.
Yeah, but we love them.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that mine is kind of chilling in the corner right now because he normally will bark the whole time. I'm trying to chit chat. I'm like, please stop.
Please stop.
Please stop. So, yeah. I got to be a mess. So, one thing I did notice though at your show is that
Get it.
your drummer is also your singer.
Yes. It. Sorry. You know, as someone who drums and sings, which is not very typical for a band, I get a lot of comments on it, and also how young I am. Like, wow, how do you play the drums and sing at once? And I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
Well, she just even when she was just learning, she wanted to sing right away, and I think the main thing with Lila is she's fearless, and even then she would just go for something without really having even done the training wheels, but wasn't afraid to fail, and it really served her well, and now she's a pretty terrific singer, whether it's singing lead or singing harmonies, you know.
I'm definitely not.
So,
as
did
good-
you
No.
ever take like a vocal class or like choir in school?
I didn't really. I think when I was in elementary school, I briefly tried to join my school's choir, but I was like, I kind of want to do my own thing. So, like, I think after 2 weeks of being in the choir, I was like, I'm out of here.
So, did you ever sing in church?
Ella did.
I
not.
did. I did not. Lila did not.
Yeah.
Lila's too young.
You let them outside, not in the big yard, but just on the screen porch.
It is. It's
Just
open.
screen porch only.
It's open for them.
No, closed. So that's
Oh, okay.
we're going to make sure the dogs are in the next room, so to speak. But yeah, we're yeah. Goodbye, Chester. Goodbye, Claudine.
So I was just asking about like the vocal thing because when you perform, you have such like a clear, crisp sound. It's not like an airy. It's more like you've been like you're trained or you're working on training for it, which is why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like if it's just kind of a natural ability, or if you're getting a lot of help from the side over here.
I guess it's kind of come natural to me for a long time, and
My only advice to Lila is just sing louder. Get on that microphone. Sometimes it's like I
she
can't hear
hits
you on
that
the
one
phone.
note
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you. But yeah, I guess I don't think I did a lot of singing before we started the band.
Sang in the car for sure.
Yeah.
I sing in the car, but I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah, we have this really cool video
Right.
of Lila singing "Let It Be" by the Beatles when she was about
6.
6. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so cute. In fact, is it in the documentary? I think
It might be in the documentary.
yeah. I think there's a little bit of her. I don't know if the audio is on or not, but I know for a fact it you see Lila and then it pans up to the dog and then up to Laura. We were taking a dog for a walk and she just happened to be singing "Let It Be" by
Yeah.
herself in the back seat.
Cute. My son sings too. He has
Kids should
like
sing.
he'll get his little guitar, and like he was singing one time, and I thought I got on Snapchat and I was like, who is teaching him these bad 80s songs? And then the older siblings are like, Mom, that's the Weathers. I was
Yeah.
no clue who this is. And then I went and checked it out and I was like, oh, it's not a bad song. And he's actually doing a really good job. I was like, huh, okay. But yeah, he gets to that where he has his own like playlist of songs and he will just sing them all. I'm like,
That's
you
great.
go. You're gonna make me a millionaire someday.
Yeah, I
Aw.
encourage kids to sing as much as they can and just to let it rip and don't be afraid and just do it. Ella sadly had a mean kid telling her she could not sing when she was about 7 or 6.
For years. Yeah, she told me I couldn't sing for years.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, and
Whatever.
it did put some hesitancy in Ella trying to sing with us. So we're just trying to overcome that. But I think Ella will sing more lead vocals as we go on. She's been writing music ever since we started the band and lyrics and stuff. But a lot of times Lila will sing the songs that Ella writes, and sometimes I'll sing them, just depending.
So when you guys sit down to write your music, do you write out the lyrics or the chords first?
It really depends on the song. I feel like most songs have kind of come from different places. There's sometimes like things you threw away, which it's going to be our next upcoming album. That was one where I kind of wrote it out like a poem, and I was like, this can be a song. And then Jeff came and edited it.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes where we just like a chord progression.
Yeah. We were working on a separate chord progression without any words, and we decided to put those two together.
Yeah, it was just like we have so many audio notes on our phone that are just chord progressions we like. And then some songs just come together kind of out of nowhere, like Fascist Blood Baby, which is on our first record. That was just us being silly.
Just those two in the
Yeah.
rehearsal room before I got in there. They were playing these bass lines and some drums, and they kind of had half the words before I even got into the room.
Yeah, we wrote that in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it originated, me and Ella were watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We were on season 1 with
The Master.
the Master, like the main villain of that part. But Ella was like, the Master is such a boring name for a villain. And I was like, yeah. And Ella said, I think he should be called like Fascist Blood Baby or something. And then I think we just kind of started singing it. I don't remember why.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I know is I came in and I said, that's a song, and you need to finish it. And I might have helped with 1 or 2 words, but it was definitely their song. I didn't take any credit at all.
Nice. Because I'm interested to kind of like the content of what is considered lyrical for some people. You know, a lot of what I listen to on my phone when I really sit to analyze it, I'm like, oh, well, it's this typical, you know, it's like a bad 80s band, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And then you guys are like, no, this is a song about our cat.
Yeah.
Like, song about your cat.
We have those for sure.
Yeah, we like writing, you know, I think they say write what you know, right? We don't really know sex, drugs, rock and roll. I mean, we know rock and roll, but what we also know is, like, we love our cats, we love each other, we don't party, we stay at home mostly. So it's like, well, let's write what we know. And I think it works.
Well, we wrote about friends too.
Yeah, we read about friends, that kind of stuff.
We have a hound dog that we wrote about on the last album. She died since the album came out, and we're so we're glad we put it to tape because it'll help us. I mean, it's still probably a little emotional to sing it with
we
her
play
gone.
live.
Yeah.
And then I know, Emma, that you had said that you had written a song about going through your dad's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my dad had this shed that was kind of his, I guess you could say, his man cave shed. And we had just kind of, when he died, we had just left it alone. And then, like, a year ago, we were like, okay, we actually need to clean this thing out because we wanted to use it for some other stuff. And there was some, like, great stuff in there. Like, we found some of his notebooks, we found some of his, like, jewelry. But then there was also just, like, garbage in there, like fast food containers.
Yeah. He had gig posters in there.
Yeah, he did have gig posters.
And set lists.
Yeah. But some of it was just, like, stuff that not even, if he was here, he would throw it away. But I was like, I want to keep both the great memories of him and his garbage. Because at the end of the day, it's a piece of him, you know?
Yeah.
It's one moment of his life that I'm holding right here in my hands, even if that moment was just he wanted a chicken sandwich.
Yeah, even if it was a receipt from Bojangles, it still meant something to Ella.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I kind of wrote that song about. It's like, I want to keep everything, even if at the end of the day, some of it is garbage.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So, do you guys all write your music together, or is it, you know, one of you mostly writes it and then one of you edits the music?
We do a little bit of both. Ella and I have sat across from each other on lyrics, and we've also sat across from each other working on chords and structure. Lila and I mainly just work with lyrics together. We came up with We Can Be Friends, which will be on the next album. We don't play it much, but we did play it at Motorco. We're still learning it, sort of.
Okay.
And, you know, I was just kind of getting some ideas about things that Lila likes or things her friends like. And, like, when little children are small, they go, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is blue. You know, do you like ice cream? I like ice cream. And you go, well, we can be friends.
Yeah.
So that's where that song came from, like naming all these things that little kids might like together and what it's like to grow up on a street where everybody's close friends like they did.
Yeah.
When I came to live with them, you know, there were all these little kids who were about 8, 9. And of course, now they're almost all grown, which is kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, our friends.
Kind of that transition.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, we were always really close with our neighbors, especially our former next door neighbors, and then they moved to Michigan. But we've stayed in touch, and she came to visit us this summer, and she actually came to Motorco that night, and we decided to surprise her with that song. We hadn't said anything. We were just like, we're gonna say what the song's about and who it's for, and then we played it, and she cried.
Yeah.
So I feel.
Oh, I'm sure. That's such a sweet gesture, though, really.
Yeah.
I have a minute. I'm getting really sensory overload.
Okay, I think that the dogs. Okay, I'll be here I'm here.
Oh, no,
We've
that's
got the
fine.
dogs coming. Come on, come, Chester. Come on and be on the show. All right, come on, Ella. I think the dogs were kind of giving Lila a sensory overload. So
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's fine. My dogs could totally give me.
yeah, you can shout an
I have
answer.
one that is so super, like, reactive to the world that when we walk out the door, like, I have to make him sit and wait and check and make sure there's nobody coming, and then we go out behind our apartment complex and go around because I'm like, I'm not. You bark and you sound so mean, but really it's like I went to go meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our dogs are like that. We have a high fence, and our neighbors haven't seen our dogs. And they, when they first met them, they were like, "We thought you had big German shepherds, like that eat people."
Yeah. Well, they were louder than they were big at the time, but now they're sort of matching their voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's like 45 pounds. He's a squished German Shepherd because he's a Jack Russell German Shepherd mix.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard that.
So he's not getting any bigger. He's 45 pounds. He's very short. But, so yeah, I know all about crazy puppies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Lila said Chester will answer her questions.
Oh.
There we go.
Aww.
Yeah.
It's a weasel! Sorry about that. My little Pomeranian has an attitude, and my son came in the house.
Uh-oh.
I needed to go grab him. Be nice, Brownie. You want to come say hi? Everybody else is showing our puppies. Oh! Why are you growling at me?
Aww.
What is your problem? What is your problem? He
Cute.
sounds like Chewbacca.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
I'm always laughing. I'm like, he sounds like an angry Chewbacca. But so we've talked about it a little bit. You guys did get a documentary on one of our local like PBS stations, correct?
Yeah, the North Carolina PBS North Carolina, the
Okay.
North Carolina station. Yeah.
All right. And how long ago was that done?
They shot it a year ago, in the
Okay.
spring, and then it started airing in May of last year, and then in February, in December it was nominated for an Emmy. I can think it was like short documentary or documentary short form, arts and entertainment category. And then
Very
in
cool.
February, while we were actually playing a show, we got a message that it won the Emmy for that category. Yeah.
That's cool. And it was just, all just about like the creation of the Secret Monkey Weekend, right?
That's right.
Yeah, it was about
Family story.
yeah, it started with our family story, but which we kind of went into with our dad dying, and then Jeff coming into our lives and us starting to play together. And it documents. I think it's a pretty good documentary of our life, and there's no narrator. It's all like us talking about ourselves, a compilation of that, which is really nice. So
The producer would just ask questions, and we would just tell what he asked, and that's kind of where it went. I thought there was going to be a narrator, and he said, "Well, you're the narrator." Like, oh, okay.
Which is nice because the only person you can blame if you're represented inaccurately is yourself.
Yeah, and of course my wife Laura, their mother, played a big part, obviously in the story, but also in the formation of the band, and so she was probably the main voice in the first part of the documentary. Just saying how she and Matt got together, and how the kids came along, and when I came into the picture, I was just almost obsessive of taking videos of us rehearsing or playing, or them just being cute. They were just adorable kids, and I had a lot of video of them, and he used a lot of it, and a lot of the pictures we took. So we take a lot of photos in this family. I guess with iPhones and cell phones, it's so much easier than. I bet I can count 10 pictures of me when I was a kid. We just didn't take many pictures when I grew up. So
yeah, my mom's an archivist, so I think we kind of have that archiving instinct, because if you don't do it, it's not going to be there.
yeah, I think.
Yeah, like when we go out to shows and stuff, Alex is always getting pictures with band members. But somebody asked her, like, well, where are you? And I'm like, I'm behind the camera.
Yeah,
Guarantee I'm at that show. I'm just on the other side of the camera.
exactly.
So I know that Alex had asked me when I was talking about your band, like, where did they come up with that name?
Yeah, so this is the fun part. So we had a friend who he kind of collects oddities, I guess is the best way to describe what he does. And he gave us this Tiger Beat magazine from 1968, I believe, and it was like an issue about the monkeys, and there was something about them having like a secret getaway away from the paparazzi or whatever, and it was called Secret Monkey Weekend, but spelled like the monkeys did. And so I don't remember who, but somebody was like, "Oh my god, that's a great band name." And I think when we were floating around, like, what are we gonna call ourselves? Really the only option was ever Secret Monkey Weekend. I don't think we ever seriously considered anything else.
If I can get
Nice.
the right place. That was the
Oh,
Tiger Beat. If you see, it does say
I see
Secret
it.
Monkey Weekend. That's
It
what
does.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
We still have it. It's hanging on the wall, I think, kind of as
Yeah.
a this is where we came from.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we actually
That's
have
cool.
the monkeys' influence on our music. Anyway,
So, you guys have said you have a new CD coming out.
Mhm.
Is that going to be like soon?
we're still kind of figuring that out. So our last record we self-produced, and this time we would like to get it on a label that is not us.
Yeah, we thought we'd have maybe. We're trying to expand our reach, and I just it's hard to reach a larger audience when you still have the same mechanism and tools that you've been using since you were small. And we're trying to see if a label with that's sort of like a bigger megaphone
Yeah.
to get the word out. Even it's just you can actually maybe reach more people across the country. I mean, we actually did reach people in Spain and different parts of the world. For some reason, Spain just really caught on for us. But it's not a place we can play very easily. But
Right.
we have been trying to expand our reach by playing, like Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington D.C., Atlanta, Athens, Georgia, Columbia, Charlotte. So we're trying to be out of town more than we're home because, I feel like you can't keep playing to the same 1,000 people.
Yeah, they get sick of you then.
Not that 1,000 come to our shows, but I mean, hardcore fans.
Yeah.
We've got to keep.
So do you ever, like when you're booking the shows, do you like collab with other groups about your venues?
Yeah, a lot of times, I think venues prefer if you come to them with a bill already agreed upon, like Caged Bird Fancier, like we did at Motorco. We agreed that, hey, we're available on these dates. What do you think about something in July? And the guy came back, and of course, we've had a little bit of an in with Motorco because we played there with Southern Culture on the Skids, Halloween a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And Cat's Cradle, the same thing. Cat's Cradle Backroom. We played shows with bands. We came to them with a bill. Say, hey, let's do Pylon Reenact Society and J-Phone 01 or something like that.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, okay, we'll give you a date. So that's worked for us. That's worked for us in Winston-Salem, at Gas Hill. You get a little further beyond our state, we kind of either have to get someone to book it for us, like a booking agent, or connect with a band that's headed that way. The Pylon people are playing in Athens or Atlanta or something, and they'll ask us to come.
Mm.
So yeah,
Oh.
we almost have to have the bill already coordinated and just seeing if they agree to the bill, the venue agrees to the bill, and then just find a date that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys ever do like, I don't know if they have them around here. We're both from South Dakota, and so they do a lot of like summer music festivals there. Do you guys ever do any summer music festivals?
We did. It's been a long time. We did Carborough Music Festival a couple times.
Yeah, maybe 3 times, 4 times.
3 times. We did Shikori. I know that's fall and spring, but
Yeah, Shikori, we'll probably we'll be back in the spring with them. I think they like to skip. Like they have spring and fall. So rather than do spring and fall, it'll maybe you skip the next season. So I think
Yeah.
we're due to play there in the spring. And
Oh, okay.
there's just some sort of local festivals that are kind of private parties and stuff that happen every year. And we've done a few sort of out in the country with these really kind of nice stages and great PAs. And we play for sort of this private group of people sometimes. It's, for lack of a better word, a hippie enclave out in the country.
yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Oh, we did Centerfest one year. That's it part in the documentary. We haven't been back since, but
Yeah, early in the documentary, you see us pushing our gear down the street. That's right there at 5 Points in Durham. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool. I am gonna have to really keep an eye on you guys and see where you're going.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, thanks for just noticing us, and we were happy to meet you at the show, and I'm glad
Oh,
that we
yeah.
had a chance to talk about it because, we enjoy talking. We like chatting with people, and we like you. We think you're pretty nice and pretty cool. Got good taste.
My silent partner.
That's right. only you heard that, I guess. I don't hear Alex.
Oh, Alex is just talking about just being the tech person. Alex actually doesn't talk very often. Alex just kind of sits there, watches the screens, makes sure everything on that side is looking like it's supposed to,
Got it.
and hits the button to start and stop.
Got it.
yeah.
Well, you do a great job.
Yeah, if there's something that Alex actually wants to know, the question will get filtered to me
Yeah.
ahead of time, so I know to ask Alex's question.
Gotcha.
Yeah. We enjoyed meeting both of your dogs, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope ours weren't too obnoxious. We love them, but they
Oh,
can be a little.
They're fine.
Yeah.
So, I did see that you guys did send me the link, so you can be found on Facebook and Instagram
That's right.
at Secret Monkey Weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Secret Monkey Week and also secretmonkeyweekend.com. That's
Okay.
where our gig calendar is. That's really helpful for that. And we've actually, sometimes we can sell our physical LPs and CDs from that website. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
and we're
And then-
we're on
We're on
Spotify, TikTok, Apple Music, all that stuff.
Okay, I found you guys on YouTube Music.
Oh,
Oh.
that's even better. Yeah.
I didn't realize.
Yeah, and of course we have a YouTube channel. We haven't been busy on it lately, but once we sort of have a lot more live shows recorded, I like to record those. Sometimes I like to pick a good performance and put it on there.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you so
Our
much
pleasure.
for having us.
Which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to see the episode.
Well, we'll stay in touch. We'll see you at Motorco.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're
Yep,
playing
okay.
Cat's Cradles Sunday. Are you around? Not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
The 12th?
Yeah, we're playing Sunday, August 11th at Cat's Cradle with a guy named Higgy V.
Oh. I am around, actually.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll send you a note. We'll try to get you on the guest list if you're
Well,
available.
thank you.
Both of you.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.